Hi there, and welcome to Rusted Junk, the 80s movie podcast. Do you dream about gremlins? How hard can you actually die? Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe? If those mean something to you, then you're in the right place. This season, we're all about a dip into the 90s. So over to Charlie, Amanda, Joe and Dom for the film.
Hey, and welcome to the film that we're covering today is the 1997 film Starship Troopers, which is a science fiction action film directed by Paul Verhoeven. Set in the 21st century, it follows Johnny Rico and his friends. They serve in the military of the United Citizen Federation, an Earth government engaged in an interstellar war against a species of giant alien insects known as arachnids. The film is known for its satirical take on militarism and fascism and has since become a cult classic. It had a budget of around 100 to 110 million and only made 121 million worldwide. However, on Rotten Tomatoes, the film has a 70% rating from critics, 69% audience score, Amazon 4.3 out of 5, and Metacritic 8.7. So let's have a look at the trailer and then we'll find out what we think. Anyway, here we go. Roll the trailer.
In every age, there is a cause worth fighting for. But in the future, the greatest threat to our survival will not be man at all.
Hey, kid, what's going on? It's war! We're going to war!
Now, the youth of tomorrow must travel across the stars to defend our world.
We are a generation commanded by fate to defend humankind.
Everyone fights, no one quits.
We are going in with first wave. You smash the entire area. You kill anything that has more than two legs. You get me? We get you, sir!
But they will face an enemy more devastating than any ever imagined.
Here they come!
Incoming!
Mayday, this is Roughneck 2 here.
We're under attack, sir. We need retrieval now.
Someone made a damn mistake.
The bugs laid a trap for us, didn't they?
TriStar Pictures takes you to the front lines of the next frontier.
Kill them all!
Starship Troopers.
I think that trailer tells you too much. Does it tell you too much, or does it give it too much away?
I think it plays it pretty straight as well, doesn't it? It gives you the impression that it's just this kind of B movie, which, you know, to some extent the film is, but it's a lot more tongue in cheek in that kind of trailer plays it quite straight, really. I think,
yeah.
It does reveal a tad too much,
like a straight, military film. Well, I mean, we'll get into that, like what we think about it. I think there's lots of subtext in here, and a lot of things that annoyed me, but we'll get to that in a moment. Just before we get round to the what we all thought and the scores, we're just taking a break after this podcast. We're just taking a break for a few months. We're just going to sort a few things out. We're going to get holidays out the way, but we're still going to be pointing content back to you via the shorts, which seem to be quite popular. So what we're going to do is we're all going to pick our favourite podcasts. We're not going to re-release them. It's not like a greatest hits or anything like that. But I think the shorts are doing a really, really lovely job of giving people a bit of an idea of the content and pulling it back to earlier episodes. So you've got some belters coming, and hopefully I think the AI will create some good shorts, and then you'll go back and listen to them. And please do, because we've had fun doing each and every one of them. So it's going to be great. But yeah, we will be back. But yeah, there we go. Anyway, Don, you get to kick things off. This was your film. Why'd you choose it? And what are your memories? And what's your score and thoughts? Everything.
Well, yeah. So, had I known we were taking a little mini break a couple of weeks ago, would I have chosen this film or not? I think possibly I would have done because it's quite a personal film to me. Maybe some of our listeners, viewers may not associate this sort of movie with my particular taste, but I chose it because I think it's a fun film. I think it's a provocative film, and it's different to a lot of other movies that are out there. It takes a lot from other films and other entertainment, but I think it packages it in a way which is interesting and somewhat unique. That's bad English, isn't it? In a unique and interesting way. So it almost starts like an episode of Beverly Hills 90210, and then kind of segues into Full Metal Jacket, and then just descends into full mental human bug war scenes. And I think there's something quite nice about a film that can do that. And you have to bear with me. This is quite a stretch, but it reminds me of the film Clue. Obviously, totally different genres, but something we've reviewed on this pod before. It's something that I first sat down and watched on television, perhaps one evening, with zero prior knowledge or expectations, and I just really enjoyed it as the story unfolded. And we call this pod Rusted Junk, but for me, this is a hidden gem. I love the fact that the biggest star, in inverted commas, in this film is Neil Patrick Harris, and the majority of the cast are complete unknowns, or perhaps known only to you if you are aficionado of daytime TV. And you can enjoy this film with an intellectual edge to things, and Verhoeven's critique of American imperialism or Western nationalism, or you can just enjoy it on the level of a brilliant shoot 'em up and an entertaining film. So I'd watch this every time it's on television. For me, it's a real guilty pleasure, and I would score it a solid 9 out of 10.
Oof, 9. Blimey. And you get to choose who goes next.
Okay, well, let's have you, Charlie, next. Let's hear your thoughts on this.
I never get picked next after this person. So yes, thank you. That's very kind of you. They say you remember where you are when you watch films. I only ever went to, so regular listeners will know, I saw a lot of movies in the Flea Pit Cinema, beautiful Flea Pit Cinema, the Regal in Oswestry. Travelled down to the multiplex, when it opened in Telford. And to see this one, I actually went to Wrexham. It's the only time I went up to the Wrexham multiplex that opened up. So I do remember. And I saw a friend come out, which I didn't know was going. And I said, "What did you think of that film?" He went, "You're going to love it." He just said, "You're going to love this film. You're going to think it's amazing." I went in, and the parallels to RoboCop are pretty, the sort of way it's done, and the sort of infomercials that were in RoboCop, and the sort of things that are happening here. You get the "Would you like to go more? Would you like to know more?" You get all of that. I had a great time. I had a wonderful time in the cinema, and I remember going, I can't believe I've just watched that. I can't believe it was that gory. I can't believe they got away with all of that. But I had fun, and I had genuine fun. Watching it again, I was slightly annoyed by certain things, and certain things didn't make sense. It felt like set piece, break, set piece, break, set piece, break. And after a while, I know this is going to sound weird because I will give it, I am going to give it a fairly decent score. But there's only so many times you can see bugs, being shot at, and you're like, okay, all right. But it does move along at a swift pace. If you don't like one bit, you like the other. If you don't like the bugs, you like the 90210, as you said. So I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Don't know if you consider that a good score. I think it's. I want to
hear from Charlie Hunter back in 1990s,
he loved
so
it
much at the cinema. Yeah.
Oh God, he loved it. He thought it was 10 out of 10. Yeah.
Hard bitten, chewed up, and spat out, and this is you now scoring at 7.5 out of 10.
Then he dropped 2.5 marks. I mean, it's not that bad. I mean,
okay. Well,
I might feel bad about it, and we'll get to the end. I might revise some score. But anyway, sorry, Joe.
Well, hopefully Joe's retained a sense of childlike wonder when he.
See, I'm looking at him shaking his head, and I'm like, body language is. I don't know. Here we go.
Yeah, I didn't like this movie when it came out. I wasn't a fan of it. It's kind of like a dollar store version of Aliens, I don't know if you have dollar stores over there.
Pound shops.
Pound shops. Yeah. So when I watched this again, I liked it a little better, but the problem with this movie is I don't know if it wants to be a satire or if it wants to be taken seriously. And it's just weird. I think one of the problems is the acting is just horrendous throughout the majority of this movie. There might be a few standouts, but it's just really bad. And I never liked the design of the aliens. I mean, they just look like praying mantis. You know, it just was too much like a bug, where it's
too buggy for you.
Yeah, because they're
Right,
bugs.
okay.
You know, they're giant bugs. Those aren't aliens. I mean, I wouldn't assume that an alien would look like a giant bug. And then you have that, what's that big bug at the end? It looks like it was a giant caterpillar or a worm or something
Like a
like
brain
that.
That's the brain. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, they're too buggy. You know, I wouldn't call them aliens. Just like giant sentient bugs. And it's just this, the whole story is stupid, which we'll get into. But I know you said that Neil Patrick Harris was the biggest star in the film. I think back then we didn't feel that way. We just felt that who the hell is anybody in this movie, you know, including him. It's kind of like usually like it's the death of a film when they have a TV star going to do it. The majority of the times. I mean, I know you're going to say Die Hard and all that, but usually when someone crosses over from TV to do a film, it's just that they couldn't afford to get a good actor, you know.
Ouch.
And
Which I don't think is the case here, though, and that's why I think it is. There are hundreds of kind of landfill sci-fi shoot 'em up, you know, just straight to video films of a similar ilk. But this is a big budget film. He could have got out there and hired stars had he wanted to, and I think the casting choices were purposeful, even to the extent of choosing not very good actors in a perverse way, because that's kind of what he wants to present is that kind of almost soap opera-esque, like Beverly Hills 90210, whatever, you know, pick another one perhaps, but that's kind of the vibe that he was going for. So I think it's purposeful. Whether it works or not, of course, is a matter for discussion.
You honestly
and debate,
think that
which
was
we'll
his vibe? That was his intention?
Definitely. I think with his lead, you know, it's no surprise that if you look at, as we've all had to do in terms of preparation for this, the films that they all went on to make, barely any of them caused a ripple. In fact, you know, the main man, Rico, his a lot of his Wikipedia
Very
films
short.
they don't even have links to them, you know, which is pretty much a death knell that they don't even have a Wikipedia stub to cling on to. But sorry, Joe, I apologize.
And one of the cast, which we'll get to in roll call, has never been able to act. But yes, never mind. Right. Well, sorry, Joe.
yeah, it's who I'm thinking of.
Yes, you are. It's that one. Yeah.
That person doesn't need to act. They just need to be in the film. Okay.
Oh, come on. Right. Okay. We'll get to that. Fine.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just was not a fan of it. I know, but it's funny because I do know some people that love this movie. Like I used to work with this guy, and we said, like, you know, what are our favorite movies? And you know, I might have said Casablanca or Citizen Kane. And someone might have said Star Wars, and he said Starship Troopers, and I was like, "What?" You know, even back then, I was like, "Really?" You know, I was like, "You need to reconsider your life."
It's a bit mean.
Well, here's a point then. Isn't this like the quintessential difference between a film like Alien or Casablanca or whatever and a movie? You know, there's perhaps we use the term interchangeably here on this pod, but this for me is a great movie.
It's a good action film for sure. You know, I mean, it's fun to watch, but I don't know. I could think of better films that I would rather watch, you know, from this genre, like Aliens. Like if I had a choice or something like that, I would choose Aliens every single day. But yeah,
Aliens is a better film. Starship Troopers is a better movie.
But Aliens is also an action film. You know, like where the first Alien was more of a suspense thriller. Aliens was, you know, the military going against a bunch of aliens.
All that action. Yeah,
exactly. But
so your score then?
My score is a 5 out of 10.
Oh no!
It could have been worse.
5?
Yeah.
I can't see 5. I feel bad at 7.5.
Nah.
Oh crikey! Right. Well, I guess we'll get to it. My minor annoyances might be Joe's like red flags that he starts with. I'm like, right, Okay, well, on that note, maybe things will change towards the end, but let's do roll call. Let's go straight into it. Here we go. Here's roll call.
Roll call.
Casper Van Dien. Very easy. I looked at that and went, I think I'm being generous by saying there's 2 films that he was in. I mean, I know he made the sequel to, he started the sequel to Starship Troopers, the 3rd one.
As I say, his films are all in this franchise, aren't they?
No, he was starred in Sleepy Hollow, Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, really?
And Alita Battle Angel.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You make it sound like, oh, wait a minute, suddenly this guy's all right. No, that's...
No, I like Alita. I think I know what you're talking about. He's like just really quick. He was in that like rollerball thing or whatever they called it.
Oh, right, okay.
But I heard, I was under the impression, I thought he was supposed to do a Tarzan movie after this, but maybe it never came to be.
Didn't read that bit. The problem was when his daughter was going to school, and then the boys were going, and she was going, "You started in Starship Troopers," and he was like, "How are the kids watching Starship Troopers? How are they watching that? They're only like 9 or 10 years old." Oh yeah, the dad's getting to watch them. We said, "Did you really get naked in the film, Dad?" Yeah. So they don't watch the film because he's naked in it. But you don't see his cock or anything, so I mean it's not that bad. Just a lot of bare asses and tits.
Yeah, it's like tits.
The thing about Casper Van Dien, I think, is he was born 10 years too late. We span the 80s and 90s genre now in Rusted Junk, and surely if he'd been in his prime in the 1980s, he'd have had a better film career, because all you needed was a strong jaw and that blonde hair and that kind of rugged good looks that he had, and he could have had 6 or 7 decent, mid-sized.
I don't see it.
He could have been definitely a superhero. Captain America.
No, he's so wooden in his delivery and everything. You can make a shed out of him.
Yeah, well, Arnold Schwarzenegger, was the biggest argument.
Yeah, but he's hardly, aren't he? Is he? I mean, he's hardly. He's a little lad with a 6-pack. I mean,
I don't know.
Put him up against John Cusack, for example. No contest.
What?
Yeah.
In terms of a fight, there's definitely no contest.
No. In terms of a fight, yeah, okay. Well, John Cusack might get a couple of rabbit punches in, or a couple of cheeky ones, but
he'd be under his arm, get his head rubbed.
So, what type of films would Casper Van Dien be making in the 80s?
Well, look, Jean-Claude Van Damme
straight to video rubbish.
Him and Van Damme would have been battling out for kind of blonde beefcake roles.
Right, so Van Damme would kick his ass, Arnie kick his ass, Stallone would tear him in half.
It's not all about physical strength.
Where's he going to sit in that genre? Steven Seagal would.
I would say he's more handsome than any of those other.
Oh yeah, I mean that's one thing I got to say. I mean that was a good-looking guy. I mean for sure. I mean I'm kind of surprised he didn't have a career, because you would think that he would have had a lot of fans, that girls that liked him, maybe guys that liked him. So I don't know. Maybe he burned some bridges. Because even if he didn't act, they still would have put him in movies, knowing that he could sell tickets. But wasn't he in? He must have been in 90210. I think he was. He might have been in a few episodes or something like that.
He might have dipped in.
Not a main cast member.
Saved by the Bell or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Few people are in that. Right. Anyway, we spent far too long on him, considering he's only got 2 really good films. Anyway, the worst acting person in this film, Denise Richards.
I think she's super hot, though. Except in the second half of this movie, she's just got too much clothes on, and you're just wasting her. I mean, she's got a friggin' turtleneck. It's like, you don't do that to her.
You were rooting for her to enlist, were you, so she could join in those shower scenes, yeah?
Yeah, that was a waste, too. She wasn't in the shower scene. And then even when she got attacked by the bugs, in that cave, she kept all her clothes on, I mean, it just was complete waste. Sorry.
Seeing as we're on, it feels like the last day of school, we're taking a little break, Amanda's not on the pod, we can perhaps descend to the level of rating attractiveness of women without fear of getting cancelled. But I have to say, controversial, I thought Dinah Myers was fitter.
100% right.
Yeah. If I had a choice between either of those
Absolutely.
two, Denise Richards or Dinah Myers, it'd be Diner
Yep.
for me.
No, I
Me-
disagree.
Meanwhile, Joe's just going for the big lips and the pouts and all that sort of stuff. Pretty much.
She was a
Charlie,
bitch, though. She really
wa-
pissed me off in
Yeah.
this movie. It's like I would say, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? She was so nasty in this movie.
Yeah.
What she did to Rico. Bitch.
Well, yeah, but it's his fault as well. The little puppy dog just goes, what do you want me to do next? Where do you want me to go next? Point at somewhere. Tell me what you want. Oh, God, man. Have some self-respect for yourself.
Well, that's the problem is again, he was a puppy dog to her, but that other girl was a puppy dog to him. So that kind of turned him off, and that turned her off. You know, it's just the writing. I guess it's okay.
We will. We'll get to that. Let's look at Denise Richards' illustrious career. I know that you probably might have looked up, but even if you haven't, what's the one thing that she's known for?
Wild Things.
There you go.
That was great.
And what scene is she well known for?
The pool scene.
There you go.
Yeah.
So while things apart, she starred in the short-lived Weird Science TV series, which was a really bad idea on pretty much every level. She starred in a quite a good satire about beauty pageants called Drop Dead Gorgeous, and I would actually suggest, despite the fact that she's in it, it's such a funny film. Oh God, and she was a Bond girl.
Yeah. How is that only now that you two James Bond fanboys have just got to this point?
I know
thought that'd be the first words out your mouth.
I didn't want to talk about it because, well, what do you expect? I mean, she's up against the worst Bond in the series.
That's not true. You know that's not
he's
true.
awful. He is awful. Who's worse than him?
Daniel Craig.
Oh, please.
No. Is this they're in the world is not enough? But I always get them mixed up. Is that the one you and I saw at the cinema that time, Charlie?
No, with the worst
invisible
thing.
car.
Oh, the invisible car. No, that was Die Another Day.
Yeah,
that
was
the worst.
Absolutely.
That is
It's
the
a full
worst Bond
trash.
film.
Yeah.
Moonraker was on this afternoon in the UK, by the way. It's on terrestrial TV. It's nice to see that. It's nice to see that again.
Cool.
You didn't watch it, did you?
Yeah, I had it on in the background while I was.
I
doing
like
some other
Moonraker.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Of course,
Um,
of course, it's got the best end line to a film, end button film.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Well, for the uninitiated,
I
Well,
think
he's having sex in zero G, obviously, because he's in space. And he said, "Oh, what's he doing?" It appears he's attempting re-entry.
Yeah.
That is a wonderful line.
That Bond girl was pretty hot. Lois
Yeah.
Chiles.
Oh, I'm meeting a Bond girl. By the way, sorry, this is off the point.
here we go.
Spy Who Loved Me is on at the Mockingbird Cinema at the end of October, in the middle of October. No, early October, and they're going to have the car from the Spy Who Loved Me,
Or the Lotus.
the Lotus, and the Bond girl is going to be there, and she's going to present,
No.
do a Q&A.
The Bond girl in that movie is Barbara Bach, and she's not going to be
No,
there.
not her. It's one of the other ones that I can't remember her name.
Well, that's just it. You blink and you miss
But
her.
she's still a Bond girl, though. I get that.
I guess
Bond
so.
girl.
I
Right.
don't even think she was standing next to him. Wasn't she?
She's in her 70s these days, though, Charlie. Yeah, what's she going to do? Show you her petticoats?
She still looks right. Okay, I will send you a picture after this. In fact, I will show you a picture after this. Everyone else go and look it up.
It's not right that they call her a Bond girl, because I think that she was the villain's henchwoman or something like that.
Oh.
She didn't sleep with Bond. She had to
Charlie's got
sleep with
form.
Bond.
Charlie's got form for this. He goes to these 80s bands and then sends out the photos from the people he's met there. And God love them, they haven't aged well. Bananarama, Transvision Vamp, Wendy James looked like she had been dug up.
Right, Caroline Munro. So for those,
Yeah, but that's not what she looks like. That's not what
She was in the
looks like now,
helicopter,
though.
right?
yeah, Naomi, yeah, Bond girl. And look, I just take it. It's fine. I can't, I get through the Lotus as well. Not the Lotus, but one mock-up of it anyway. Lastly, Denise Richards. Back onto it. I didn't even know this. She was in Love Actually.
Yeah, she was one of the Americans.
She was one of the Americans, the really friendly one. I was like, I don't remember that at all. And I don't know how many times I've seen that.
Kubert, what's her name? The
Eliza
blonde girl
Cuthbert.
from 20. Yeah,
Eliza
she
Cuthbert.
was one of them.
Yeah, she was the Yeah.
And the one from American Pie, foreign exchange. Shannon Doherty.
Shannon Elizabeth.
Oh yeah, Shannon Elizabeth. That's Shannon Doherty. She just passed away.
She has just passed away.
Oh, hang on.
No,
What's that?
no,
What's that?
Yes.
no, there's not much. Well, I mean, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but there's not a lot to work with there, is there?
90210.
Well, that's it.
God, Sharon, rest in peace. You didn't have a
you just called her
sufficiently good
Sharon.
career to make our
Shannon.
show.
Also, she was in Little House on the Prairie. She was in that Charmed. It's a pretty big career there, Charlie.
Sorry, not my thing, I'm afraid. They've got to have something that resonates with me. I mean,
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Dina Meyer. Anyone?
She was in 90210, wasn't she, for a while? She was a TV actress, really, more than anything else. But yeah, she had at least some sort of vaguely respectable C-list career after this. Well, unlike the others who were strictly Z-list. Yeah, I think she achieved C-list briefly. She was in Johnny Mnemonic, wasn't she?
She was.
Well, that's the film we've all heard of. So that's a tick, isn't it?
We've heard of it. People are going to go, what? No, it's got Keanu Reeves.
I've heard of it too, but I've never seen it.
It's got Henry Rollins in as well. Star Trek Nemesis. She was Barbara Gordon in Birds of Prey TV series, which wasn't half bad. Weirdly, God knows who did this. I didn't even know there was a Wild Things 2. I certainly didn't know there was a Wild Things 3. And I didn't know that Dina Meyer was in Wild Things 3. So that's kind of weird. Because I stopped after the first Saw, I don't know that she was in Saw 2, 3, and 4. Presumably gets killed in 4 because she didn't come back for 5. Piranha 3D, which was awful. And voiced Starship Troopers, Traitors of Mars. She came back in that. I didn't even bother to look up how she came back in that because, spoiler alert, kids, she dies. So yeah, Dina Meyer. Anyone for any more on Dina Meyer? Apart from she's better looking than Denise Richards.
I just wanted to point out one thing. Denise Richards was married to Charlie Sheen.
She was, yes. Well,
I didn't know that. So presumably it's a nice, happy, stable marriage. Everybody emerged from it with lots of credit and dignity intact. Is that how it played out?
And STDs, a lot of those in that marriage too.
Yeah, wow, okay.
On both sides, I imagine. On both sides. Jake Busey, definitely like his dad, Gary.
Yeah, he's got the same teeth. How does that happen?
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Must be the food that they eat when they're babies. It's like, yeah, instead of like, chewing on like one of those. Well, we would call them. I guess you're gonna laugh. Nipples. You call them pacifiers.
We don't call them nipples. We just call them dummies.
No, actually, we call the with a bottle. The top of the bottle is called a nipple. It's not called
right. The pacifier. Why do you have to invent? Why do you have to change?
What do you mean? What do you call it?
It's
then?
a dummy.
It's a dummy.
Dummy. Yeah.
That makes any sense?
You put your dummy in. Oh,
dummies means stupid.
I need to pacify this baby, so to pass me the pacifier.
It makes a lot more sense than
it
dummy.
doesn't make. It doesn't. Well, it sounds more posh. It sounds like we should have it, and you should have dummy. Not that I'm saying anything against.
Oh, is that how you're going to do it?
I'm not saying anything against the great state.
You're ragging on pacifier, and you're like, you know what? That's a little bit intelligent. Why don't we swap?
Your election is going to be far more fun than ours because now, breaking news to those that don't know, certainly will know it by the time the podcast goes out. But Biden's out, and he's just endorsed Kamala Harris.
That should be fun.
That's going to be great to watch. Anyway, Jake Busey had a bit part in Twister. I went to see the sequel. I gave that 7 out of 10. I know, but I might actually do I don't know, maybe do a video on that. I don't know. Yeah.
Do a Rusted Junk review of Twister 2.
Twisters.
All right, Twisters.
Frighteners here. He's the religious nut that makes everything go tits up in the quite spectacular Contact.
Yeah, I remember him in that. Yeah.
He's great in that. He was in Enemy.
He's great in that. Does he have any spoken lines in that?
He does. He has but his what I'm saying is his presence and the way that he looks. He's great at doing at the role he does. I think he only says like one paragraph, and that's when he's like talking to camera after the fact as to why he sabotaged the ring, as they say. You need to go and watch that till it will make sense. He was in Identity with John Cusack. I'd forgotten all about that film, but that is a fantastic film. Identity, really good. And then I have no idea, even though I've watched all 4 series, he was Bruce in Stranger Things. No.
I watched
Drawn
one
a blank.
episode of, didn't like it.
Let's move this along a little bit then. After that, blank look. Neil Patrick Harris, famous for
Doogie Howser.
97 episodes. Doogie Howser, MD, the 17-year-old doctor. Of course he is. Of course he is. Harold and Kumar Get the Munchies, where he plays himself.
Is that what that's called over there?
Yeah, what's it called over there?
Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
What's White Castle?
White Castle is like it's kind of like a McDonald's over here.
Okay, our version sounds better. Yet again.
No, it doesn't.
It does. Harold and
Get the
Kumar Get the
Munchies?
Munchies. Yeah.
No. All right, whatever.
Do you? So I'm not going to ask this question to Dom. So when you got high, Joe, did you not get the munchies?
Yeah, no, we did get the Munchies, but
Right, there you go then. White Castle sounds like a white out, like pulling a whitey.
White Castle sounds like some of those political meetings that you might go to, Charlie. Is that not right? I'm off for a meeting of White Castle as he puts his uniform on. He puts his robes on.
Oh yeah, I put on my. Yeah, well, we'll get to the uniforms in this film at the moment.
I mean, I don't know how much of a fan of Saturday Night Fever you are, but they went to the White Castle in Saturday Night Fever.
Okay, missed that.
Mm.
Yeah, thanks. Voice of Spider-Man in video games. He starred in Muppets.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yep, he starred in the Muppets, the resurrected Muppet film. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Probably he's most famous for, after Doogie Howser, which is Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother. 208 episodes on that. How the bloody hell did I carry on with that show? 208 episodes.
You
to get
watched
to
one.
How They Met the Mother.
You haven't watched 208 episodes of that, have you?
I watched all of them, yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Charlie.
Look, I'm really sorry. That's one I am sorry for. He was in a series of unfortunate events, Lemony Snicket's, where he played Count Olaf, and finally he was in Matrix Resurrections.
I think he's awful.
Which I haven't watched. I don't like him personally.
He's
no.
good in this one. I think he's okay, and he was great in Doogie Howser. I think he's well. I think his claim to fame is I think he's like one of the first actors to come out as gay. You know, like really come out, like and.
Okay.
You know.
Really come out.
I mean, like, be proud of it.
The mind boggles. Yeah, there was no doubt. He came out so dramatically. There was no doubt. It's
no,
true.
but like back then, like people hit it, but you know, he was proud of it. You know, and it worked well for him. You know, like where everyone was, you know, again on his side. You know, he became more of a star, I think, because of it. You really came out.
I'm still
Really,
reeling
really
from the
came
fact
out.
that Charlie sat through 208 episodes of a program. He didn't even lie.
No, I hoped it was always going to get. I wanted to find out how he met his mother. It turns out that you can skip 206 episodes and just watch the final 2.
Well, that's a shock, isn't it?
Most people would know
I
that.
could have told
No,
you,
but
that
you
before
could have seen it
wasted
go
208 hours.
I like little bits here and there. And to be fair, Neil Patrick Harris was the reason why you tuned into that. I would say he's the best.
I think when
character in it.
Charlie dies and meets his maker, he's going to say, "Why did you watch 376 viewings of Jaws and 200 episodes of
Moonraker?
And they're going to go
on a Sunday afternoon.
A life well lived. That's what they're going to say.
I hope during our time off, you're going to do a bit of a digital detox, Charlie, and perhaps turn your back on the medium of TV and film for a little bit and explore other avenues.
What you mean? Read book?
Well, no. Start up small steps, and you can build up to that. Perhaps That's,
I might see some comics then. Yeah, great. I'll,
find a cure for the bird flu.
Yeah.
Already got one. Thank you on that one.
Yeah, I think I know what that is.
Clancy Brown, famous for
me, Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption. Bonus points if you get this one, because I didn't know until I looked it up. Who was the biology teacher when they're dissecting the bugs? And she had like a sort of red sort
I
of
know
high
who that
forehead.
was. I know who
Do
that
you?
is.
Did you know by
Yeah.
looking at the? Did you know by not looking it up?
Maybe not.
Right. Okay. Dom.
I
Oh,
didn't
wait a minute.
recognise
What
her.
I'm
She's quite
I'm
an
going to
old,
ask you for
quite an elderly
reference.
woman, wasn't she?
Yeah. It's
Was she,
Oh.
was she a Bond girl?
No. Maybe there was 4 of them. 4 elderly people in a sitcom.
Golden Girls?
Yes.
Yeah.
She played.
Okay.
Was it Blanche?
Oh, the slutty
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, the slutty one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The slutty one.
I had
Okay.
no idea. I had to go back and look at that and go, really? Okay.
Well, she's gone from being a MILF to a mom I would not like to F in that case, because she's not aged well.
And now I would say leave the best till last, but Michael Ironside at least got a bit of class in him. You know? No, I'm looking at Joe.
See,
he's
I
rolling
know
his
him
eyes.
for Splinter Cell.
Yeah,
Sam Fisher.
Yeah.
See, again, I was a PlayStation guy. I never had Xbox, but I always wanted it for that. I wanted to play that game because that game looked so
They're
friggin'
so
cool.
good. So good.
And he had a great voice. Oh, we forgot to mention too. You kind of breezed by Clancy Brown over there.
Well,
He also does a lot of animation voices. He's Lex Luthor and a lot of Superman cartoons. He's Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob.
Ah, right. Okay. Yes, I should have put that in. You're absolutely right. But Michael Ironside for me, the TV series, which is incredible. It still holds up. I watched it a couple of years ago. I watched the whole thing again. Brilliant.
There was an opportunity for you to shoehorn a Top Gun reference in here, and you've not taken it.
Yeehaw! Just as dead.
There you go, folks.
And finally, he was also in Scanners. But what was his other big role in the very early 90s?
Total Recall.
Total Recall. He's good in Total Recall. I've got to say, I just like watching him. I just think he's got that sort of gruff. Oh, he's just great. So yes, I think I have left the best till last.
Well, just on the director though, if we're doing roll call as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he had that run of 5 films during his Hollywood era, didn't he? Starting off with RoboCop, Total Recall, tailed off a little bit. Basic Instinct, which we recently reviewed on this pod and gave us our best ever ratings. Showgirls, and then Starship Troopers. So Showgirls and Starship Troopers kind of killed his career in Hollywood at least. But that's a pretty decent little portfolio of work, I think. And he's an interesting director. That's why I think this does stand out from its usual B-movie schlock that it could have been, because his hand is on the tiller.
Would any one of us pick Showgirls?
Well, I think it would be an interesting film to kind of revisit, because it got critically mauled at the time. It's kind of become not so much a cult classic as like a camp classic now. So I think it could do with a reappraisal.
It's one of those that's so bad it's good too.
Yeah,
no.
A lot of TNA in it as well for those of us who like that. And I don't know if we're going to divulge what we discussed in our WhatsApp group during this week, but there's a school of thought that we should go down that route a little bit more. Sex sells and all that.
A bit more slap and tickle, they say.
Well, Joe posed a rhetorical question, which I'm not sure he's going to repeat on this pod or not. But I thought that might generate some listener debates, but I couldn't possibly.
Oh, so when we come back, it will be with the listener choice, which we already know what that is, and then it's just going to be sex films of the 90s. All right, okay. Well, it's one direction we could take, I suppose, but let's see, eh?
Sex and Death, eh? The two.
Basic Instinct has been our most popular one. Has been our most popular podcast. So
well, this one's not going to be very popular unless we actually get to the film. So
so let's end roll call then. Let's get to the film. What do we do? Dom, you said it at the start that it was like a mix of things that were going on here, and different things were happening at different points. And you know, if you started watching the film for 10 minutes at one point, you might think it's a completely different film. I like the way this started.
That's funny. That is interesting, because I think, and I know this is a little bit of a leap of faith, but I think in parts this film is purposefully bad. It's knowingly bad as opposed to just inadvertently bad and haphazardly bad. And I think personally the opening is if you just watched the first 15 minutes of this film and stepped away, you'd think, it's some straight to TV movie. It's kind of, we talked about it earlier. The casting choice is deliberate, in my opinion, and they kind of just go through the motions of, life at school, boy and girl, love rivals. So for me, it was the least interesting part of the film, but obviously provided a foundation for whatever came next. Well, I was curious as to what you liked about it.
I like the fact that it starts off with the before the flashback. It starts off with the scene which you'll see later in the film, and in the context of it later in the film, which is the invasion of Clondathu. And then it cuts back and it goes, right, I'll show you how this all progresses. And to start the film, he's totally led by his cock because, as I say, he's jumping down like a little puppet, going, "Where do you want me to go? And what's the way that I can go and do this?" You get the aloofness, the sort of, I'm better than everybody else, and Neil Patrick Harris, which turns out to be entirely true later in the film, because they all have to salute him. You get the nice sort of thing. You get the nice vibes from Dina Meyer. He's a bit wooden, but at least you've got this setting up this. I need to do this. I'm not going to go to Harvard. I want to be a citizen. I need to sign up. And the reason I need to sign up is not because I feel any sort of sense of honor or duty. It's because I need to shag Denise Richards. So I think that's not a bad start to a film.
One thing I thought was interesting was the love rival. So they have the character that we didn't discuss in role called Patrick Muldoon, who's the opposition kind of whatever American football type game they're playing, who looks like he's about 42 when he's supposed to be in the school environment. Yeah, he's got a lot of crow's feet on those eyes for somebody who's supposed to be a young kid playing college football.
Yeah,
I like the style of the movie, I'll say, because it does kind of convey the future. Maybe it's a little bit over the top and everything, but you definitely know. I mean, you're not in, are you in the 20th century? When does this take place?
23rd century.
23rd century. Maybe it's a little underwhelming for 23rd century.
Yeah.
But I thought they did a good job at that, and like the whole television commercials, the spoofs, and it's just very, at times it's cheesy, but I think it works too, like with the kids stomping on the bugs and all that, and it's definitely, it's kind of, I would say it's definitely marketed towards teenagers. It's like that go to see this movie because first, again, it starts off in high school, and you got good-looking guys, you got good-looking girls. There's the love triangle or quadruple or whatever you want to call it, and it just seems like something that you would take a girl to go see if you were in high school, and you would think it was just awesome.
You think so? Do you think? I mean, we'll never know from Amanda, but for me, this is like a man's film. I'm not sure I'd take a date to watch this.
Oh, they would like to see Casper there. They would just think he's dreamy or something like that. That's all they. Well, that's being very misogynistic, I guess.
One of the themes of this film is the equality between men and women. So at school, in the military, on the pitch, they play male-female mixed sports. In the showers, they shower together, and that's kind of, I think, a refreshing take on it. And I suppose that there's a parallel there with Alien and Aliens, where there's a mixed crew, and Vasquez and things have their, alongside the men as well. But I thought that was pretty good dynamic.
Yeah, I thought that was very advanced. For that time.
And this is a really diverse film. If you look at it, it's a really diverse film, but it doesn't go flashing neon the message.
I don't agree with that though. If you want to say it's diverse with men and women, but I don't think it's diverse with people of color. I can't even think of what.
Well, there was loads in the original one when he joined Mike Linesode's Roughnecks. There was the main black guy there. Well, I can't name them, but they were definitely there. There were plenty of women. There was the Latino. There was the Mexican. The Mexican that got killed.
I thought, the central cast aren't, Joe, but there were quite a few more diversity in the supporting cast and when they got onto the planets later on. But whilst that's diverse, obviously part of the point of this film is that actually there's this kind of one mindset. So civilization in the 23rd century is moved to the point where it is this kind of world government. I mean, the characters look like corn-fed Americans, white picket fence Americans, but allegedly they live in Buenos Aires. So there's kind of an implication that, you know, that English language, English culture, or American culture, I suppose, really has taken over the globe. There's
yeah, I didn't think of that. That's good. That's a good point.
There is this. You don't see dissent really. The only dissent is when his parents don't want him to join the military because he'll get killed, not because they fundamentally object to what's going on. And this kind of whole of society is mobilised against this war against the bugs. Which actually, there's a school of thought where it's the humans that are the aggressors because they're going out into space and entering bug territory. So I think that's again a deliberate choice by the director is to present a relatively diverse cast, but actually a completely uniform mindset and approach to this conflict and to society.
Well, who's the ones that started the war? Was it the bugs or the humans?
Well, it's not really answered, is it? And
I think it's the bugs.
It's presented as a conflict that's ongoing, but it is hinted at that actually the reason the bugs are attacking us or fighting back, depending on your perspective, is because mankind is exploring the solar system and is encroaching on their territoy. But
you don't really see any sort of evidence of that.
No, you don't. But the backstory simply isn't explored, is it? So you kind of just presented with this situation where the Earth is in conflict with this society.
Well, then if the backstory isn't explored, then it's left to the viewer to make your own mind up. As to I know it sounds like very base and childish, but who started it? And you're like, well, make you come to your own opinion on that one, I suppose.
I mean, I assumed it was the bugs because, I mean, you saw a lot of people that were recruiting these high school students, missing limbs. And I would also think that they had some kind of invasion into Earth, especially when they were shooting those bombs out of their asses, heading towards Earth. I mean, and they had to defend themselves against it. So they knew they had to defend themselves against it. So I guess it's happened before.
But because it's not explained, so to your point, it's up to the viewer to decide. It's therefore ambiguous. And actually, if you do look at it through the lens of, let's say, it is human society that's the aggressors, then I think the film does take on a different tone. And this is where the kind of the messages about fascism or imperialism or nationalism come from, because it would be humankind that's leading the conflict and committing kind of genocide against these creatures.
But if it is ambiguous, the director then picks up the club of reality and hits you around the head with it repeatedly and going, it's not ambiguous at all. I'm trying to make a film here. I'm trying to make a point here. I'm dressing him as a Gestapo officer. I'm dressing him like the sort of not Hitler Youth, but the Italian version. I forgot what they call I forgot what they are. I forgot what they're called. But the symbolism is there, and basically going, sorry, just in case I left it up to you to make your mind up, this is what you must be thinking.
Well, I also read too that the whole thing of it taking place in Venezuela, with all of those, blonde-haired white, guys like Casper over there, or Rico, was because of Hitler. There was rumors that he had emigrated to Venezuela after World War II.
Careful, that tinfoil hat, I mean, you're not borrowing mine.
His descendants.
Even if he didn't, then a lot of leading Nazis did, didn't they? Eichmann was caught in Argentina, wasn't he? So, I think that's true. And you're right, Charles. Yes, certainly, whoever started the conflict aside, the imagery is not, it's not a nod to the imagery. It's a copy of the imagery. That
great copy.
The Federal Council looks like 1930s Munich. Neil Patrick Harris bounces around looking like Himmler addressing the SS towards the end of the film.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go back to the shower scene just for a moment. I know we're just going from there to there.
Let's linger there.
But let's to the shower scene. None of them were comfortable in being and going naked in the shower scene. So Paul Verhoeven went, I need you to strip. No, we're not going to do it. If I strip, will you strip? And they went, yeah, thinking he wasn't going to do it. And him and his assistant director stripped down, butt naked, and were like, and it was Casper Van Dien was kind of like, my eyes, fine, okay, so we'll all do it because you've done it.
I thought you were going to say, and that's where that Adamant song came from.
He is Dutch, isn't he? So they're pretty open-minded.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So what about so we've got this kind of soap opera 90210 start, and then it goes to Full Metal Jacket and Training Camp. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And then we get so Michael Ironside's left it firmly in school at that time, and now we get Clancy Brown as the platoon sergeant or whatever, and he's excellent. And if you're any. I think if you follow his story, it makes perfect sense. I'm not trying to skip around all over the place. It makes perfect sense when he goes, yeah, well, you can join, you can go and do that, but you'd have to be busted down to private in order to go and like participate and stuff. And then you get that scene at the end, which we'll get to. But I think
go ahead.
No. I think his character's gone on quite a ride in this film. But you think differently, Joe?
No, I'm just saying there's just so many weird things that happen in that movie. Like, again, when they were playing those like mini war games, and then that guy's head got blown off by that girl, and then she has to leave, and then Rico's got to be punished for what happened, and then they whip him. It's like, what the hell's going on? Again, that's like where you like wonder if this is satire, if this is comedy. Are they having a laugh on us?
That's why I think it's such an enjoyable film, because if it was a lesser film, it'd take itself seriously, and this would all be part of the necessary path to toughen them up, and it'd be kind of a more linear film. This, I think, it's all those things. I don't think it's one or the other. I think part of it does play it straight, B movie, gore and blood and guts and tick, and that's loads of good fun. I think some of it is subversive, and I think is holding a mirror up to the audience and to certain values in society, and I think that's pretty good as well. So for me, it's simultaneously a fun, dumb movie, and it's kind of multi-layered as well. And actually, that's why I think it's enjoyable and creative, and I think Verhoeven deserves some credit.
And yeah,
the training scenes where it's not just the fact that guy gets his head blown off. Ace is contemplating why we need to practice with knives when you can just press a button to deploy a nuke, and he throws that knife straight through his hand. That's a quality. That's a quality.
If you disable his hand, he cannot press a button.
Yeah, exactly. He asks them to fight him when they start and breaks arms, and it's just what's not to like about that, eh?
Yeah. And Dina Meyer gives him a good run for his money when she turns up.
Yeah, she can kick ass.
Yeah, she's got everything. See, Joe, you stick in Denise Richards' camp, so to speak. Just before we move on to obviously where you all going, war. We'll go to war, and then we get to the next bit. So we get to the middle segment, which is where I start having a few problems with the film, but we'll get to that in a moment. I thought it'd be good just to chuck this little choice piece of trivia into it. In an interview with Coming Soon, Casper Van Dien spilled the beans on how a newspaper helped underage audience see this violent R-rated movie. Do you know this piece of trivia, anyone?
Nope.
Okay. The New York Times did a piece where they gave 1,000 13 and 14-year-old boys tickets to see the film Bean, starring Rowan Atkinson, also released in 1997, to see if they could sneak into Starship Troopers, because people were doing that at multiplexes. When they found out, they basically ended it. And they think they would have doubled our income. So instead of 25 million, it would have been 50 if it was a PG-13 film, if they'd been allowed to go in. Now, I like that idea, but the reason why I said it is, do people still multiplex hop? Because
I used to a lot.
But it must be really easy now, because there's
it's
nobody
hard
on the
now.
doors.
Well, the way it is now over here is that you have to reserve your seat, and if you buy a ticket at the theater, you have to choose a seat that you're going to be in.
Right.
So they try to eliminate that whole thing. Like where you can't just sit anywhere in the theater. You have to sit in a specific seat. So if you do decide to hop into a theater and you sit in a seat, someone else might have that seat, and then you got to have a fight with that person. That's like, I paid for this seat. You need to go. You need to move somewhere else. Another thing what they do too is they also have removed the marquees of what's playing. So it'll say, theater 2, 3, 4, 5. Those bastards. I mean, my problem with them, again, is number one, they charge entirely too much in order for you to go and see a movie, and then they charge way too much for the concessions. So I think that you should have the freedom that if you're going to go see a movie at a day, so what, you go see 2 or 3 in your theater hop. I mean, if you're buying food and that's what's making them rich, not the price of the tickets. You should give these.
Do you get your bag searched when you go to the cinema?
No.
I was going to say, because otherwise I've saved a fortune taking in stuff to cinema. What's the point of buying a £6 box of popcorn when you can get one for £1 at Poundland?
I mean, and what sucks too, I hate this whole thing of having to reserve your seat, because you might reserve, the person sitting next to you that reserved the seat might be an asshole, or they might stink, or they might take their shoes off and start picking their feet, and you're stuck in that damn seat. Yeah. I mean, rarely do I get stuck next to a Playboy model. It's usually like some fat guy with sandals that has like nails that are like digging into the seat in front of him. It's gross as hell.
Yeah. All right. Okay. You can still go and sit in another thing and take a chance that you won't get bothered.
Yeah, you might get shot.
Well, that's not in America.
They actually have shot. People have gotten shot.
Jeez.
Well, here we are, Rusted Junk flying the flag for the movie-going experience. There we have it.
Yeah, right.
So the film then gets onto the battle scenes, yeah,
right.
which are brilliant.
Yes, and then they just start getting samey. It starts just getting the same. Here's the massive problem I've got. When we get to the battle scenes, they show you on TV how to disable a bug. Shoot its brainstem, down, dumb. What the hell are they doing? They should be having snipers just brainstem, boom, or even grenades, and even like at that sort of level. Nope, they forget everything they've been told, and they stand there blindly shooting into the dark. They might as well just have like sunglasses on. For all the good it's doing, it's just, I mean, even the one that gets Johnny Rico, Casper Van Dien, I'm like, put him down, man, and make sure that he is down before you turn his back on. Oh no, all right, okay, fine.
I love the cool analytical approach you take to warfare with these swarms of massive arachnids or bugs coming towards you. You just be there dispassionately, just shooting them according to the textbook. It's panic stations, isn't it? They're being overwhelmed.
Yeah, because why would I waste 200 bullets when I can just waste 10?
Because you're not going to be that cool in combat. It's like, I'm just going to aim for the stems. Like, you're going to go, oh, fuck, I'm just hitting it on auto,
Oh, right.
And hopefully
so it turns into
I could picture Charles in Saving Private Ryan as he just casually walked up the beach, nutting at the idiots beside him who are rolling around in the sand. I'm going to get the flamethrower as he boldly strides across Omaha Beach. Yeah, it's not the way it works, is it? Eh?
Oh, right, okay. So snipers just like close both eyes and just hope that they might hit the target.
Maybe they just need the British contingent in Starship Troopers. Perhaps that all that action happened off scene. But yeah, they were just sipping their tea and shaking their heads at the Americans going in all gung ho and aiming for their feet and the hands of the bugs. Yeah.
I mean, what I think is stupid with all these battles too is what do they send like maybe 1,000 to 5,000 soldiers, knowing that there's probably millions of bugs in that area. I mean, there's no way in hell that they're going to win that battle, especially since the average soldier, I think it takes, a full clip of maybe 100 to 200 rounds just to take one bug down,
Plus, why didn't they just do an aliens thing? Why didn't they just nuke it from orbit?
Well,
just to
they
be
kind
sure?
of they kind of do. You know, they do adapt the tactics, don't they? They have that carpet bombing scene where the Air Force come in.
Finally, after 100,000 people have died, do you think we should attack them from the air?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's
yes,
but again,
yes.
that's the film. So they do this carpet bombing, and then you're left with this kind of scene of these charred corpses, and we're supposed not to care because they're bugs and we're humans. But actually, you know, there's obviously some parallels drawn there between that and the Second World War imagery. I'd suggest, and Vietnam. That's just stacked piles of corpses. It's pretty grim.
Oh, good
Yeah,
Lord.
remember that bug was somebody's mother.
And the
I've had
carpet
worse.
bombing thing doesn't. When they're faced with exactly the same scenario again, they don't carpet bomb. It's almost like they've forgotten the thing that they've been told again.
I mean, you look at how they do war now. I mean, where are the drones? I mean, I guess back then they didn't have the idea of drones, but you would think that they would do something like that first before we send in men. It's like, send in the men first. They're really dying to fight. You know, let's let them go.
Yeah, well, this
Let
is
them
the whole
be
thing, isn't it?
crazy.
It's infantry, and but then they get to that base, which is a bit like has parallels with the Alamo or something like that, doesn't it? And the bugs have attacked and they've sucked the guy's brains out. This is really now B movie territory that we're in, and then the swarms attack the base again. That's a fun scene. That's good. They're firing away with the machine guns,
but they're standing around a pile of bugs just before that. Just before they get to they're standing around a pile of bugs in a circle, shooting at each other, and I'm like, well, that's clever. That's really clever. Because you're just gonna basically hit each other. I'm sure there's some Naked Gun-esque style scene that's happened there, whereby, do you think it's a good idea to shoot in a circle? It's never a good idea to shoot in a circle, kids. Don't do it. Anyway, yes, they get to the Alamo style,
And was their goal to rescue that one guy that died anyway?
Well, no, they weren't expecting. I don't think they knew he was there.
Well, there was an unofficial plan, wasn't there, which was to test whether they thought there was a bug brain on the planet, and they wanted to see if they responded intelligently to the bugs, and they did, and that's why that kind of sets up the final section of the film where they go and actually capture that horrible pulsating bug creature. Yeah, the brain.
Bug brain.
Yeah, but before that, right. So another thing that I have a problem with, they go to this planet, and they presumably, I mean, this was Amanda that said this. She said, "Is anyone on when they're all getting pissed? I expect the best, and I give the best." And he goes, "Here's the beer," and he brings out a crate and says, "Here's the entertainment." And I was like thinking, it's going to have some porn. It's going to have like loads of different things. No, it's got a violin and a football in it. I'm like, a violin, a violin.
Because it's going to have porn in it. That's equally odd, isn't it?
Why would you not want your soldiers to relieve themselves?
Yeah, but that'll make them weak too.
Might make for a strange party as well if they're just dishing out porn, aren't they? And people, how's that going to go down? So yeah, it's
that's the X-rated version of the movie.
Yeah. That's the sort of thing Joe wants us to review next season.
But guys watch porn together.
Well, you know what? A bunch of men sat around watching porn together. That's got undertones, isn't it?
Well,
yeah, there's men and women.
Oily Greek sort of undertones, yeah. But all right.
Just go to their bunk and do what they got to do.
Well, it's better than a fucking violin, is all I can say.
Well, I just think that makes
seriously.
a very strange party where everyone goes off to their bunks and has a wank. I think that's like not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's no fun, but it's not the sort of party I want to go to.
So it's a good idea. Is anyone protecting them? Is what I'm saying. They're still on this planet with millions of bugs still on it, and the bugs go, "I'll just let them have a night off and get pissed and play country music on his violin stuff." But anyway, so we get to see Gina Meyer's tits, which is
the second time.
Yeah, second time. Yeah, we saw her in the shower too.
Yep.
We never got to see Denise Richards stuff. I saw enough of those.
Yeah, you just go and see Wild Things.
Wild Things.
So yes, let's get to the Alamo bit. Flying bugs as well.
Oh, is that what it's called? Is it actually called the Alamo?
No, I mean, it's
some comparisons
with
the wall,
it.
overwhelming odds. that sort of thing. Yeah.
Backs against the walls. It's a shower scene again. We're talking about. Oh,
But
right,
well,
okay.
after they've observed each other wanking at the porn party that you're proposing, yeah, they can't shoot at each other in a circle, but they can stand around and have a circle jerk, perhaps. But yeah, so they have this Alamo scene. That's the brain sucking scene, which is quite good, I think. And yeah, and then they have to rescue Denise Richards, which leads them to the bug brain, which is quite a good character, I think. It's like a Jabba the Hutt on steroids. No?
I'm surprised there were no subtitles, for that bug. Aha! I have you now.
I felt sorry for the bug in the end when they capture him and they drag him out on that net, and then they're going to learn the secrets of the bug brain. And you think it's all some sort of telepathic thing they're going to do, and they just stick this horrible medieval device straight into its face, which gets censored because it's that revolting. So, yeah, I think that's another nod to the human.
That's not just that censored. The cow's censored as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Everything else is all right, but the cow's censored.
I didn't feel sorry for that big bug.
Joe, very anti-bug.
I am very anti-bug.
Yeah, Joe, you'd have joined up, wouldn't you?
Of course you would.
I don't know. I probably not. I don't think so.
Yeah, unless they fire. Yeah,
unless they blew up my hometown, maybe.
Okay. While you went in it, obviously. So yeah.
What about you?
No, I'd have to be living somewhere. Well, that's my situation right now.
No, peace, man.
Would you have joined up, Charlie?
Not for that cause. No, I don't mind. I don't mind a good scrap, and I don't mind fighting, and I wouldn't mind. But yeah, I've got to believe in the cause.
I'm pro bug. I was going to be on the bug side.
Oh yeah, right. Okay,
you traitor.
Yeah,
excellent.
I'd have been a double agent for the spiders.
Brilliant.
They would have killed you.
No.
So that scene with the Alamo and the outpost is the only thing that happens in Starship Troopers 2.
You saw Starship Troopers 2.
I have seen it, and I do remember it.
Can I ask you a question? So do any of these soldiers or main characters become friends with the bugs?
No. Well, I mean, why would that happen?
I don't know. I would assume, what would you say? There were like 5 sequels?
I think at some point... There are 3 sequels and 2 video games.
And there's a bunch of... Weren't there animated movies too? Or is that considered one of the sequels?
Sorry. There are video games and 2 animated movies, yeah.
Yeah,
Starship Troopers 3, Casper Van Dien comes back.
But they don't go for a drink at any point with the bugs or anything like that. They don't have
weirdly, the
Christmas Eve style truce where they play football with each other on the
that would have been a good idea. It's
I just want to know
about to come out with, which
is he married to Denise Richards?
No, he lives alone on a farm, on one of the bug planets, which they cleaned out, has been colonized, and he's now a farmer. And the admiral comes to visit him, and she comes down and basically finds out that it's not cleared out after all. There are bugs,
Shocker.
and they're double agents within the Federation. And basically
they were like wearing trench coats, but
he has to protect the farmhouse with the admiral in it. And I'm just like, oh god, it's like Iron Eagle 3. I mean, Iron Eagle 3. Oh god, it's dreadful. I mean, the plot is just horrendous. But at least there was trying to be some coherent story. In this one, it's just, what's the point? I get that you want to make a sequel to it, and 2 is just a lot more of the same, without any sort of tongue-in-cheek bit about it. It's not the same director, completely different director.
I could see them doing a reboot. I could see them doing a reboot of this.
Yeah,
they love to do that, like a remake or maybe.
Yeah, we get better CGI at the moment.
Oh, especially if they'd have girls and guys in the showers. You know they would love to do that.
Well, that brings us to the end. So, does it change any scores?
Well, the end for me, I felt it was rushed. I mean, first of all, it's like, oh, guess who found the giant bug, the brain bug, and it was Clancy Brown. It's like,
yeah, that's a nice touch, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's too convenient.
Oh.
It's like
cynic.
I mean, it would have been nice if we would have seen him sneak up on the damn thing. And what did he do? Like put him on his shoulders or something? How did he capture the bug?
again, that's left up to your imagination.
Yeah, I guess so. They must have cheaped out.
Maybe he threw his knife at it. You know, he's pretty handy with that thing. So
Yeah.
Could have been that.
might have been something like that. Right. Okay. Well, that's the. I was going to say that's the end of this season. It's not. We're just going to carry on in a few months' time when we pick it up. But if you're joining us at the end and you didn't listen to the start, we are going to produce some shorts based on some of the things we've done before. I don't know why.
I know so many people that jump right to the end.
Oh, right. Okay.
This is where we need a violin to play us out, isn't there? At this point, what's that song by the Birds? Turn. You edit that in.
Turn. No, I can't because I'll get deep. Not that I'm making any money off this anyway.
Yeah,
but yeah, you're not allowed to.
What? Not even like 10 seconds, just to
no.
say. Kirsty McCall, thank you for the days.
Well, actually,
something poignant, so we can say goodbye to our loyal.
Oh God!
listeners and
Look,
viewers.
it's not farewell. You know, it's not brief encounter.
I've got a
we're
black
coming back.
armband on, but you can't
This
see
is
it
the
against
end by the
t-shirt.
Doors.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. God, you said
We've
to
had
me,
some laughs. We've had
don't
some
make it-
tears.
right. We're taking a break. We're taking a Ross and Rachel break. Oops. Oh,
We
there
all
go.
know how that went.
Yeah, they got together in the end. So yeah, it turned out to be pretty good in the end. So yes, right. So temporarily, I'm going to say cheerio.
See ya.
It's been emotional. Bye, everyone.
See you on the other side.